and I want to show you today how to make a lamb Bhuna. Now I can't do this recipe and talk about it without giggling and thinking of Peter Kay, who I absolutely love. Big recipe where it says 2 lamb Bhunas. So it's just, if I'm giggling all the way through, it's because I'm thinking of a joke that he told in one of his scenes. But we have to be serious now. Let's get on with the recipe. Okay, this is my husband's absolute favourite. When I've neglected him and I've been busy, this is what I do as makeup dish. Works every time. Okay, so we're in here, and I've already got it in the pan. We've got 900 grams of lamb, which is diced into 2 to 3 centimetre pieces. Get your butcher to do it for you. Okay, I've got 2 onions, which I've just roughly sliced. Now they're quite large chunks, but that doesn't matter because they'll be cooking down in the process really quickly. Then we have a tin of tomatoes, and I've used a really good quality tomato because I think the thickness and the sauce adds to the sauce in the Bhuna. Coriander, which again, if you don't like, you can leave it out, but I love it. Then we have 8 tablespoons of oil. Turmeric we have because we use it in many of our curries and it's a good anti-inflammatory. Then we have some chili powder. Then we have garam masala and ginger and garlic. Now that's fresh ginger and garlic, which I've blitzed in a blender and made it into a paste just for the sake of the recipe, so we can just get on with the recipe. And that's garam masala, but remind me, I'm going to come back to teach you a little bit about what garam masala is as the lamb is cooking. Okay, so like I said, chuck it in and leave it. And though you think that doesn't sound very difficult, it's not. It's not very difficult. Okay, so literally, in go the onions. 2 onions raw, in they go. Lovely. In go the tomatoes. It doesn't seem like cooking, honestly. In goes the oil. Basically everything bar the coriander goes into the pot and just simmer through. A lot of my customers, a lot of my clients and students actually use this as a slow cooker. In goes the ginger and garlic. Quite a lot, but red meat can take it because it's a very heavy meat and it needs the ginger and garlic. Then a teaspoon of chili powder, a little bit more. Then we have the garam masala. Now that is the most popular spice that we use in our meat dishes, and jalfrezi, chicken masala, lamb, keema will always have a garam masala. In it goes, and some turmeric. In that goes, lots of lovely colours, and about 2 teaspoons of salt. In it goes. Okay, I guessed there, but it is about 2 teaspoons, and that's it. Everything's in there. Give it a stir, turn it on high, and that's it. Now then what's going to happen is you've got the ginger and the garlic is going to flavour the meat. The tomatoes is going to make a curry sauce, and the onions will break down and add to that lovely sauce. Okay, give that a stir. There's quite a lot of meat there, so it'll take a little while for the gas to heat up the pot. Quite a lot of ingredients in there. So that was quite a lot of spice in there, and don't need to worry about what goes with what and how much to put. So if you don't really want to grind and roast your own, then you can just use one of my super duper little spice packs. So I have my own spice range, Parveen the Spice Queen, and of course lamb Bhuna. So that's that. You just add it into the pot and just cook through. Really easy to cook. Okay, so can you see now that's coming to the boil? If I just move my spoon, and what we can see it now just coming to the boil. And that's it. So I'm going to just leave it for a few minutes, and I want you to see how it changes colour, because actually it's not an ideal way of cooking a curry. Many people think it's too simple, but you know what? I'm all for a simple life. Give it a stir. It's heating up now. Okay, so quick tutorial while that is just coming to the boil is I just want to talk to you about garam masala. Now that's used in many of the meat dishes. Okay, so this is a raw garam masala. This is all the spices that I would use. So in it you've got bay leaves, obviously, you've got cinnamon, you've got black pepper, we've got cloves, we've got cumin, and coriander, and a few more. So that's quite a lot of spices. There's 8 spices. So what I do is I then roast that in the oven for about a minute and a half, put it in an industrial grinder, and I grind it to get that lovely powdery garam masala that I put in the dish earlier. So that's what they call a garam masala. So it is quite complicated. It is worth getting the best spices. It gives a wonderful flavour. But like I said, if you don't have the time or the knowledge or the inclination, just buy a spice bag. Okay, so that's heating up nicely. So what I'm going to do is give it another 2 minutes on high, and then as soon as it starts boiling, I'm going to turn the gas onto low and simmer for about 30 minutes. that's been cooking for 30 minutes now, 30 to 35. I wasn't timing exactly, I was too busy enjoying my cup of tea. Okay, so if I reveal now, it's going to have a completely different consistency. Look at this. Wow. So the onions are broken down. Let me just turn that right down for you. The onions are broken down, the tomatoes are broken down, and the spices are cooking through. And what's going to happen now is eventually, as the sauce dries out, the oil will come to the surface as that cooking that meat through. I'm just going to turn it up. So this process is called the Bhuna. Now I did talk about this before, and a Bhuna actually means to cook on a high heat whilst reducing the sauce, whilst the spices are frying. And you can see that's all spitting now. I have to stand back a little bit. So that's still quite wet. We've got a lot of sauce in there. So now what I need to do is continue to cook that on a high heat whilst reducing down. So as I've taken the lid off, it's going to start to reduce down. The oil will come to the surface and keep stirring. Don't have to be here constantly, but just babysit it, give it a stir, come back after 30 seconds, 1 minute, give it a stir, just keep your eye on it. We're going to keep reducing this now, and what I want to do is reduce the sauce, and then they'll have a lovely shiny consistency, and that is called a Bhuna. Persevere, have patience, it's worth it. That's been reducing down for another 5 to 6 minutes now. I take the lid off. Okay, I think what I used a really good, quite a lot of tomatoes, and it actually is probably a bit sweeter than I would like. So I'm probably going to add a green chilli for flavour, for more flavour. But I'm reducing the sauce, and if you look very carefully, it's still spitting a little bit. It's still quite wet, but the sauce is reducing down, and it continues to do so. And the oils come to the surface. Can you see? And then now we're going to Bhuna it. So I still want to stir fry the meat in that lovely sauce to get that depth of flavour. Okay, so again, this is what I talked about, what means Bhuna. So at this point, if I wanted to make it into a lamb masala with potatoes, I would add more water, some potatoes, that'd be a lamb masala. But as this is a Bhuna, which is normally quite dry, we're going to let it continue to reduce down. Just keep stirring. Sometimes when I first teach somebody how to cook, and they say, oh my goodness, it's such a long process. But once you get used to the method, that you realise it just becomes second nature. It's absolutely worth the flavour. Again, if you just leave this now, it'd be like a spicy casserole. You need that depth of flavour to come from the way the spices are fried in the oil. And can you see it's got, if I just hold that and show you, let me just show you. It's got a lovely shiny consistency now. So the meat is cooking, the sauce has got thicker. Yeah, get some more. That lovely thick sauce, but I need to continue to thicken that sauce. And actually, one of my students once was cooking and said, oh, would you just add corn flour? I said, no, you wouldn't add anything. You would just continue to reduce down the sauce. So continue to cook that down. So this is why I'm using a deep pan, okay? Otherwise it will just spit and then get all over your clothes. Continue to do it. So I think that needs another 5 minutes of cooking. Still reducing down, still cooking through. Bit of a lengthy process this last 10 minutes, but absolutely worth it. So I'll see you in 5 once it's reduced down even more. Okay, I'm really happy with that. The oils come to the surface, and then the spices have begun to fry, and that's got a really nice thick sauce. So I'm going to cook that for about 5 minutes, keep stirring. At this point I'm going to add the coriander, in it goes. In goes the coriander, and actually I was tasting it earlier and I thought it was a little bit, probably too sweet, probably used a very sort of strong tomato flavour. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to add some green chillies. Now some people do like it hot and some people like it mild. I myself have a mild curry, my husband likes it hot. If you want to have some real heat, then add green chillies. Because the green chillies are in, and what that's going to do is that's going to flavour the sauce even more and give it a little bit of heat that you want. Just don't be tempted to add extra red chilli powder, because that's not going to work, because chilli powder has to be cooked through. And we've been cooking this for about an hour now, and so the chilli powder we initially put in is cooked through. So for extra heat, just add fresh green or red chillies, and that will give you the heat that you want. Okay, so if we look at that now, I'm really happy with the consistency of that. Just going to show you, and just hold it up for you. That has just, so oil's reduced down, spices have cooked, and the meat's going to be nice and tender. I'm going to have a little taste. Okay, so the best way to taste is not with the teaspoon, is at the back of the spoon. It's got lovely heat, it's got richness. I can't taste the ginger, I can't taste the garlic. I can taste a hint of tomato and a hint of chili, and it's just the flavour I'm looking for. I'm really happy with that. It looks delicious. So now I'm going to make a tiny bit of a sauce by adding some water. And you may think, oh, she just spent hours reducing, well, not hours, but ages reducing the sauce and now adding water. That is the technique, that is the process. You need to reduce down the sauce in order to cook the spices and the meat. Then you add the water to make a sauce. It may sound like a little bit of a contradiction, but it works. Okay, add a little bit of water. And what that's going to do is, that's going to just give me the little bit of sauce to dip my naan bread in. So what you want to do is just cover that and leave that for 10 minutes. I'm going to come back and then best part of the recipe, eating it. Oh, delicious, absolutely yummy. I'm just going to plate that up. Switch the gas off. Look at that, that's lovely. Now that looks like a real lamb Bhuna. I've got a lovely thick sauce, shiny consistency, tender meat. Wow. You know, I'm not even a fan of red meat, but this way I will eat a lamb Bhuna, no problem. Okay, I'm going to sprinkle that with a little bit of fresh coriander. Lovely. Best part, I'm going to have a little taste, just so you know what it tastes like. Okay, let's grab a little bit of that. Let's just, I'm just going to cut into that and show you. Oh, that's so tender. Look, it just comes away. It's really hot. That is so delicious. I am Parveen Spice Queen. This was my lamb Bhuna, or is my lamb Bhuna, and I'll see you next time.